Hey everyone, welcome back. We have some breaking news. The HEALS Act, not the HEROES Act, not the CARES Act, brand new stimulus, the HEALS Act has just been released on the Senate floor. I'm going to be telling you the key details right now that have just been released on the HEALS Act. Everything from stimulus checks, which are confirmed, to unemployment insurance, which has been cut, PPP loans, and a lot of other things in the HEALS Act. I'm going to be sharing with you in this video, telling you what's relevant, what's not. And you know it's serious because I've broken out the special mug, the mug with my baby's face on it. That's how you know it's serious, drinking coffee at 3 in the afternoon. Now, let's get right into it. So my name is Kevin Conway. I make personal finance videos and stimulus news update videos all the time. So be sure to subscribe to this channel if you're not already. Give a like to this video, and I'd really appreciate just sharing this video with whoever you think it might benefit, because we're going to have a lot of breaking news coming out in the next few days as this bill gets dissected and discussed in the Senate and the House. So be sure to stay informed and subscribe to the channel. Now, let's just get right into it. So first things first, another round of stimulus checks is happening. Everyone is like, okay, it's not confirmed, it's not confirmed. It is confirmed right now. The HEALS Act has the next round of stimulus checks. Now, how are they calculated? Well, we thought before in my previous videos that they would be drafting off of the CARES Act, and it turns out that's exactly what they did. The CARES Act eligibility is the eligibility now in the HEALS Act. That is, if you're an individual making less than $75,000 a year, or if you're married filing jointly making less than $150,000 a year, you are eligible for this additional round of stimulus checks. The amount is $1,200. The tax year that they're going to look at, according to the HEALS Act, is going to be, unfortunately for a lot of people, 2019. It's going to be the same eligibility criteria as in the CARES Act. Now, here's where it gets interesting. According to Chuck Grassley in the Senate, it looks like they are going to expand eligibility for dependents to every dependent regardless of age. So this means that if you are claimed as a dependent on somebody else's tax return, that person who claimed you will get an additional $500. It's the same thing as if you have children and you get that extra $500 per child. Same thing with this adult dependent. That's what it looks like right now. Now, I know that's not exactly fair to the people who are claimed as dependents, but at least the people who have claimed you now will get that extra $500. A lot of people are like, what happens if I'm 17 years old? That's the cutoff, but I'm still a kid, I'm still a dependent, I don't get anything, and my parents don't get anything. Well, it looks like that issue has been resolved here. For at least those people, it definitely is a big benefit. Some other key things about the stimulus check: yes, it will be taken if you owe child support, just like it was in the CARES Act. It'll be applied to the amount of money that you owe outstanding on child support. Furthermore, there are no caps on the amount of dependents that you can have in order to get that extra $500. And so, for all intents and purposes, if you got a stimulus check in the first round, you're going to get a stimulus check in the second round. Now, when are you going to be receiving that? Covered that in my last video, but it looks like it'll happen really quickly after this bill actually passes. Now, this stimulus check portion is the portion that is in agreement right now with the House bill, the HEROES Act, and now this Senate bill, the HEALS Act. That is almost universally identical between the two. A few groups are eligible in the HEROES Act that aren't in the CARES, in the HEALS Act, but by and large, it is going to be very similar. This is something that will pass, and therefore you probably will be receiving this late August. Also, this is not taxable. It has nothing to do with your tax refund at all. The reason why it's called a refundable tax credit is because they've created it in the tax code and then they give it to you now. Don't worry, it doesn't affect your normal sort of tax refund at all. It's free money, it's not taxable, it's as good as it can get. Another round of stimulus checks is going to be coming here. Let me know what you guys think of the stimulus checks in the comments below. I know a lot of people were upset because Trump said it's going to be more generous this time, and it's the exact same as last time. Only a few months have passed. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now let's get into the more controversial part of the HEALS Act. Officially, we have the text, and it is released saying that the unemployment insurance will be expanded, so that's good. As I alluded to about a week and a half ago, a couple people I knew in DC confirmed that it would be extended. For how long and for how much, those were the things that were up in the air. But now we know how much it is going to be expanded by. According to the HEALS Act, $200 per week is now the extra unemployment boost that you will be receiving. That's down from $600 per week. Why the discrepancy? Well, they try to keep the bill a little less costly. They try to incentivize people to go back to work, but that is the amount, $200 per week. Now, how long does that last? That lasts for roughly 2 months. 2 months is the time that you're going to get that $200 per week, or the date at which your state will be able to calculate and implement the cutoff of 70% of the amount of money that you're making before. So this $200 per week is going to float states until they develop the system to calculate how much money you were making before you lost your job and capping that at 70%, and then ultimately capping that total amount and the amount of unemployment that you're going to be receiving. So what does this mean for most people? Well, if you're receiving that extra $600 per week, unfortunately, if this bill passes, which it probably will, but this one portion probably is going to be debated and shifted around, then you will be receiving less in unemployment insurance for the time at which the states implement that new system. Now again, I want to stress, this is a bill, this is not law yet, and this one provision is the most controversial provision in all of the HEALS Act. This is something the Democrats have said that they are going to take issue with. The Republicans have also laid their claim as well. And this one provision, reducing unemployment insurance from $600 to $200 per week additional boost, is the most controversial part of this whole bill. We might see something where they meet in the middle, where it's $400 per week, or it's calculated in a different way. And for that, we're going to know a lot more in the coming days once this bill is debated and understood more by both sides. So if you want to stay informed, I'm going to bring you the latest news. Always be sure to subscribe, and I'm going to tell you exactly the status of unemployment insurance because I know it means so much to so many people. Additionally, we have in the HEALS Act something called the re-employment bonus. We don't know much about it right now. The details are just coming out as we speak, but it is an incentive to get people who have lost their job back into the working world. I imagine it'll be something like a modified version of unemployment that you get to take with you for the first few weeks that you're employed at a new job. We're going to know a lot more about that in the coming days. Now, for those who are renters and you have faced, job loss and you've been worried about being evicted, but you have this eviction moratorium that was put in place in the CARES Act, which is protecting you from being evicted. Fortunately for you, you're going to have that extended here in the HEALS Act. We're going to extend that eviction moratorium. It's unclear right now for how long, but I'm going to be reading the full text of the bill as soon as it is released and letting you know the details. The HEALS Act also has additional money for Paycheck Protection Program, or PPP loans. We have new funding for the PPP loans, but it's limited to businesses that are under 300 employees and have suffered a revenue loss of at least 50%. This is a lot different than the CARES Act, because the CARES Act essentially said, look, you're a business, you may not have suffered yet, but as long as you certify that you are going to suffer in some way, or you anticipate your business suffering in some way, you're eligible for this PPP funds. Now these new round of PPP funds are going to be significantly limited to the amount of people who can actually apply for them. And lastly, you have liability protections for certain firms. We don't know a lot about this yet, and necessarily it's a legalese sort of textual thing that you need to understand. We don't have the text for it yet, but there are liability protections for businesses coming out soon. And really, that's all we know at this exact moment, but let's take it away. One $1,200 stimulus check in March, now another one likely in the end of August. That's what's going to be coming to you. If you're eligible for that, you're going to be eligible for this. If you still haven't received your stimulus check and you are eligible, contact your congressperson and use the IRS portal to update your information. Now we know that. Number two, the biggest thing is the unemployment insurance boost of $600 per week in the CARES Act, which is expiring July 31st, is now going to be cut to $200 if this bill passes. This is going to be debated heavily in the House and in the Senate, and this is the most controversial portion of the bill without question. Those are the two big things. Everything else, the eviction moratoriums, the liability protection, the PPP loans, all of those are things that are going to be laced with details, which are going to be coming out in the next few hours when they release it more officially in the Senate. So if you want to stay informed and you want to know more and my take on it, be sure to subscribe to the channel and please give a like to this video if it helped you out in any way. Now, my name is Kevin Conway, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.